Gentlemen, and ladies. I was doom scrolling last night, like I'm sure most of you do before bed, and this interesting announcement came across my timeline. Okay, feed. Wherever you want to call it on X. I'm not sure what they call it on X, but yeah, I didn't see this coming. I thought they would just be focused on like things like Kagurabachi or Ichi the Witch. There is another one I am reading on Manga Plus. I forgot the title of this, but that's a different video. So yeah, this was quite shocking. And the response is what you expect. You got your few people here who are just like, did you eat my pizza? No way, never expected this. What a mountain of announcements today. I never expected this. But then, as you know, when you start to go down, it goes downhill very, very fast. And the internet does what the internet does. So we'll go over this tweet here and another tweet dash deep dive by Words of Paradise. But before we do that, my name is TJazz of TJAZZART&COMICS. And if you are new here, please hit that like, subscribe, and comment to boost us up in that algorithm. So, as you see here, we have such a lovely main character. Now, what kills me is that this is beautifully drawn. This is a really nice art style. But as these two posts go, not everything is what it seems. So the first one comes to us from Solionath, and I'll tell you why these two posts will be related in a second, who pulled up some receipts of why, once again, like anything that's promoted now these days, you have to assume it is funded in some way or form, or the media is lying. This is an example. And I'm sorry if I butchered this name. It's called Solionath, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But this person says, this is totally astroturf. This manga experienced less than 2 engagements per day on average. No forum posts and only 5 ratings. 4 are 1 out of 10. The decision to provide a Viz release to this manga shows that Viz is not serious and doesn't respect Japan or Japanese culture. And in fact, the date's right here. This was published online 3 years ago, excuse me. I know what I was doing on this date. I was engaged. Anyway, but on June 9th, 2022, this was published. And it did not get attention until recently. And all the receipts this person pulled shows this. No real ratings here. It's 1 out of 10 here, 1 out of 10, and again, just nothing. And here's the ranking. 27,046, which means nobody has heard of this, even in Japan. Nobody. Okay? Nobody. And it gets worse, my friends. It does get worse. Then, Words of Paradise pulled a Madam Savvy and decided to do a deep dive. And shout out to Words of Paradise for doing this. He did not have to do that. But let's take a look. We're going to break down the highlights. We may break down this whole thing, but if you do want to read this whole thing, go just type in Words of Paradise and his page should show up. He did cover this on YouTube as well, of the same title. So again, just go check it out if you want to. Alright, so let's get into this. There's been a lot of talk about this announcement and whether or not it's woke or DEI manga. I started looking into this and I was not expecting the rabbit hole it took me down. Here's the key information. Half is more is published on Torchweb. Torchweb is a digital manga site owned by Lead Publishing. Torchweb describes itself as a space for alternative expression and manga that explore mature, philosophical, or unconventional themes. Now tell me if this next part sounds familiar to you guys. Covering topics like daily life, relationships, art, aging, and social issues. Now, me personally, when I hear that, regardless of what side of the aisle it's on, I know it's going to get political. And I know, regardless if it's left-leaning politics or right-leaning politics, anytime I hear this in relation to entertainment in general, I know the outcome is not going to be good. But anyway, let's continue. Some would consider this a red flag, though that's just the beginning. Sales data first serialized starting on June 29th, 2022, and did not get a physical release of Volume 1 until March of this year, 2025. There was never any publicly disclosed sales data, digitally or physically. Instead, we have to rely on Okuran. For those who don't know, Okuran is a major Japanese company that tracks and publishes music, manga, and entertainment sales charts. Okuran tracks weekly manga charts by volume, as well as yearly sales rankings both digitally and physically. Half is More never once charted with Okuran, which means one can reasonably assume it didn't sell well at all in its native language market. Now, anytime something does not sell well in its native language or market, you probably shouldn't sell it. Anyway, let's continue. It did get recognized for an award circuit. Specifically, it won the CREA in 2025. This translates to Night Owl Manga Award, an honorary award for late night readers, the sort of indie hipster stories you would expect at the artsy upper class scene. The award ceremonies and rankings were funded by CREA themselves, being just an online lifestyle magazine. This is where it gets interesting. Obviously, winning an award like that will, at the very least, boost visibility, though there is nothing to indicate sales increase after winning an award, which is unusual because anyone who knows manga history knows the moment you get some type of award, whether it's silent auction or the afternoon manga contest, not only will you get money, but you will get recognition and possible serialization from these manga contests. That's why they have them in Japan, and they have been opening it up to Westerners because they're looking for more artists, right? So the fact that this didn't get any boosting or the artist didn't get recognized, that's significant, because if you win an award like this, you should be getting recognized, or hey, check out this new artist that's coming up. Maybe you'll see him in Viz, maybe you'll see him in Kodansha, or Yen Press, whatever. It should be highlighted, right? Or you should get noticed. But the fact this doesn't get noticed has me concerned. So anyway, let's continue. The Cool Japanese Fund is a public private investment fund and touts pro ESG stories. In fact, the Cool Japan Fund website under news, there is a selection dated May of 2025 that says it published a DEI promotion policy and harassment prevention policy. What this means is that while the manga itself may not be made-funded for explicit reason of promoting woke or DEI subsidies, the AstroTurf buzz behind it from third parties absolutely is. And he hits the nail on the coffin, which, what did I say earlier? It means that the story is not organic. If your audience doesn't want it, and your publishers, I think, deep down secretly don't want it, you probably shouldn't make it. But I digress, because he goes on how Viz and BlackRock are together, and then this corporation bought them last year, and he did a video. He explains that, so go check out that video. And this is his last paragraph. At the end of the day, here's the short version. A niche manga that didn't sell well, wasn't heavily marketed, and whose only claim to fame is winning an award funded by pro ESG and DEI government-funded magazines is now getting a Western release funded by companies that has ties to pro ESG DEI investment corporations in Japan. And at the end of the day, folks, if you want to buy this, that's up to you. I personally won't buy it because I'm more excited for things like Kagurabachi. I may buy Ichi the Witch, and of course I may buy Kingdom because I've heard great things about that manga. And all I have to say is this, guys. If the government tries to force you to create art you don't want, don't do it. I don't care how much money they throw at you. Unless they threaten you, okay, then I understand. But even then, don't do it. Because it's not going to be good for your reputation. It's not going to be good for your art. Because look at this. This is not a bad drawing. I like this drawing. It's very expressive, but I'm not liking the story. I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. Because if this were to come out 10 years ago, specifically 2016, this might stand a chance, especially here in the West. But tides have changed, and Leon was like, well, maybe this will do well in the West. I disagree with that statement because things are changing. I think this is just going to be another small percentage of people who buy this claim it's great, when in reality, it's probably not, and they'll never show us the numbers, just like they haven't shown us numbers for all of your guys' favorite video games, all of your guys' favorite TV shows, all the movies. They've never shown us any numbers, and I have a pretty strong feeling that when this drops next summer, Viz is just going to sweep this under the rug, and they probably won't even say anything again. And it's going to be interesting next year. And also, me personally, I'm probably just going to be looking forward to Steel Ball Run, if anything. And maybe other shows on Netflix, it depends. But yeah, guys, this isn't looking good. And to any of these artists out there, don't create something you don't want to make. Okay? Because when you do this type of shit right here, it's going to backfire. And it's not going to look good. Anyway, I gotta head out, folks. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe. And I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, because this is not good. This is not good. And I hope this artist sees the light and realizes I made a mistake just because I won a fancy award from my peers. Don't ever make something for your peers. If you make something for yourself, the audience is going to recognize that, and the audience will follow. Hence the line I'm going to say, if you build it, he will come. Here's my alternate version. You build it right, they will come. So take that for what you will. Please stay safe out there. Have a good night, guys. And don't forget, go be a rebel and create.